All right, joining us now, Congressman Steve Cohen. He's a Democrat from Tennessee. Thanks so much, Congressman, for joining us.
Nice to be with you.
So looking back, and you're a straight shooter usually, do you think Democrats handled the confirmation fight the right way as far as the Supreme Court nominee, now justice, is concerned? What would you have done differently, if anything?
I think if you could have gotten Dr. Ford's testimony out sooner, it would have helped, because there would have been less time for the Republicans just to force it down the vote and to do the curtailed FBI investigation, which was just a sham. But otherwise, I think the Democrats did a good job. They fought. They had the information they got. In my opinion, Sheldon Whitehouse was a star. Amy Klobuchar was a star. There were several stars on the Senate side, the Democratic side. The Republicans made you really kind of question your history of government. Were so despicable in the way they treated Dr. Ford. None of them had the guts to question her. And then just the way the bottom line is they all kind of considered it what guys do when they're young. They get drunk and they assault women, and they thought, that's cool, it was a long time ago, let's not worry about it. And then came up with lies and excuses to say, well, nobody corroborated. She was corroborated. Nobody witnessed. And the only witness there would have been a co-aider and abetter who would have been guilty as well. People who are involved in crime don't come forth and say they did it. There was nobody else that witnessed it except for the judge boy. He lied. What happens in Georgetown Prep stays in Georgetown Prep, and they just got away with it. And what Susan Collins said was awful, too. She basically said Dr. Ford lied, and the president said she lied when he called it a hoax. She didn't lie. She's an outstanding woman coming forward. I feel very sorry for she and her family, what they're going to have to go through, what they've been through, and that the Republicans have basically called her a liar.
Democratic voters, they were pretty enthused, as you know, going into these midterm elections, but we're now seeing a lot of increased enthusiasm among Republican voters, especially in your home state of Tennessee, as a result of the Kavanaugh confirmation, the second United States Supreme Court justice appointed, nominated by the president. Does that worry you right now? If you think in your home state of Tennessee you could be losing some of the momentum going into these final 4 weeks before the election?
It does concern me, but I think there was a blue wave that was coming. I think the blue wave is still going to be there, and it may be even stronger. There's obviously going to be more Republicans coming out because they got their backbone up about their beer drinking, loving beer drinking, good old boy from Georgetown Prep being questioned about his past history of sexual abuse and his lies about what FFF meant and boof and triangle and all that stuff. He just lied, and they got all upset about it. Well, some of them are going to get out and vote, and it's going to make it more difficult, and made it more difficult for Phil Bredesen running against Marsha Blackburn. He came out and said that he would have voted for her if he was there. I think I'd have stayed out of it, but I understand maybe he was trying to balance the wave, which was about 60-40 in favor of Kavanaugh in Tennessee.
We're showing viewers, by the way, live pictures of the Florida Governor Rick Scott, who's introducing the President of the United States. He's running to try to become the next United States Senator from Florida against Bill Nelson, the incumbent Democrat. What does it look like in Tennessee right now? There's a very competitive Senate race there.
Well, Phil Bredesen has got a tough race with Marsha Blackburn. He's a competent man. He's a moderate. To be honest, Phil Bredesen is not nearly as liberal and as progressive as I am or as I would like him to be. We've had our differences in the past. But I've served with Marsha Blackburn, and but for her vote on the state lottery, which was my signature accomplishment as a state senator, her career in the state Senate was zero good. And her career in Congress has been equally as non-noteworthy. She's good on jumping in front of a parade and then putting on her leading the parade. That's not what you need. Tennessee has had great senators over the years. Phil Bredesen could be a senator like Howard Baker, like Jim Sasser, like Estes Kefauver, Bill Frist, who become leaders in the Senate and judge issues based on the issue and not on party all the time.
If the Democrats do become the majority in the House of Representatives, what's going to be your main priority?
Well, I think we're all going to be concerned about health care and jobs and cleaning up the culture of corruption. I suspect I will be on Judiciary and Transportation Committees again, and in Judiciary we'll look into the abuses of the Trump administration, of which there have been thousands, and we'll try to find out what we can about interference with the election. We'll try to protect Mueller. We'll try to get information concerning his involvement with the Russians and the emoluments clause. I mean, the courts have let our lawsuit, which Senator Blumenthal is the lead congressperson, although there are about 200 of us on it, go forward to say that he's violated the Constitution by not coming to Congress and ask for permission to take money from foreign potentates. He's taken money from Chinese, Saudis, Turks, you name it, at Trump Hotel and at Trump Plaza, Trump Tower. And his whole life's been a fraud. The New York Times ran their piece again yesterday, and it points out this has been a lifetime journey from the east side to the park. Paul Simon could write you about Donald Trump's story. I guess it's not from the east side, it's from Queens to the park. And it's been full of fraud and cons, and that's what he's been, and that's what we'll have to investigate in the judiciary. On transportation, we'll look for a robust jobs bill, a transportation infrastructure bill.
Hey, Congressman Steve Cohen, thanks so much for joining us.
You're welcome, Wolf.